Yo, so I thought I'd make a video on living from the heart. So I guess I'm just going to talk about my experience, right? Because everyone's different, right? I feel like living from the heart is okay, let's start with most of society, right? Are not living from the heart. Are more, I'd say, are more ingrained in here, right? More ingrained in I like this word, patterns. I use this word all the time now. Patterns. We're so ingrained in patterns and programming and conditioning, you know, with the world and the society that most of us live in, I guess most Westerners. I guess we're so ingrained in like a false sense of self. We're so like, that just follows, you know, and it's like, it keeps us in low states, it keeps us in heavy states when we're so in here. Everyone's different, right? But for me, living from the heart is about, I guess, coming more out of here and more living your experience through your heart, right? And a lot of people can't necessarily do that because, let's just say, their heart center is so heavy. There's so much, like, people in states of depression and anxiety, and there's so many feelings that, like, tumultuous feelings that we're caught in, and it's like we can't live from the heart. It feels like, because there's such just heaviness there, right? So living from the heart takes us to face that within us, right? And when you do that and you work, it's like, I like to call it shadow work, when we start to bring our conscious awareness to this built up, these built up energies within us that are a byproduct of like programming and patterns like ingrained into us, especially at a child, like during childhood, and just the system around us that puts us in, we partake in it, right? That's why, we're partaking in it. And when you start to bring awareness to these things and you start really watching yourself, going within yourself, a lot of people are just distracting. And I've been there, and that's a part of the process. Sometimes we just have to distract ourselves for a certain period of time. Some people can distract themselves the whole life, and that's why they're here. That's their soul's here. They signed a contract for that, to experience that. Not for me, right? I'm not here to distract myself my whole life, right? So when you stop distracting yourself, when you are distracting yourself, you're sweeping stuff under the rug, and you're allowing that stuff you're sweeping under the rug to builds up, and then your natural state's just this big bowl of shit that you've swept under the rug, right? So when you start to bring awareness to that, and it can be heavy, it's like this living from the heart takes you to your core, takes you to facing your darkness, your shadow, the patterns you're ingrained into, like, it takes you to face all that. It takes you to, like, for me, it was many nights of, like, I had a choice of distracting myself, or I had a choice of sitting in that fire, sitting in that heaviness, and like, when you really, like, allow yourself to feel these heavy things and this darkness within you, you start to work with it. You start to you're bringing light to it, so you're relinquishing it and you're allowing it to play out. So living from the heart, it takes you to facing your darkness, and when you've cleared out so much of that, it's like you cleared out so much conditioning and like heaviness that you're allowing the light to come through, and then you're living an experience in more joy and more love and more like abundance, like in here. And you can express that, and you can, like, it's beautiful when you're able to have that and express that and share that with others, right? But it first takes you to facing all that's stopping that, or not allowing that to come through. Like, that's just your soul expression coming through, and we're so like caught in this false sense of self that's keeping us heavy and keeping us low. So when we watch that, and we observe that, and we really, it takes, I say it takes courage, right? It takes courage, and it takes you to, like, man, I know what it's like to be in these like heavy dark states, and you, I empathize with anyone that's going through this, or I see it in the world. I see it in people close to me, just like how hard life can get, right? But for me, I felt like my soul was here for so much more than just partaking in these cycles and this system. And I feel like I'm here to show people that you can live a life more in joy and abundance. We don't have to live in fear all the time. We don't have to live in these depressed states all the time. Like, we can really, like, actively clear these states out, and when we do that, and we really like clearing these states out, like these certain feelings we clean, like we have, like, to be free of them, first you've got to accept them, and accepting them, you've got to allow them, you've got to, like, feel them. Like, feeling is healing, right? I'm sure anyone listening's probably heard that before, but that's like literally how it is. You've got to feel these things to let go of them. You can't just, like, that's how it works. It's like, that's the natural way of like the emotions. When you like, the natural way of, like, our emotions, they come in, like, they're there, and then naturally they go away, just like a thought. It comes in and it goes. But when we have patterns that teach us to, like, when the emotion comes in, we teach it, like, we've been taught to suppress these things and hold on to these things. Like, we hold on to them, we let them build up. So when we've let things build up so much, we've got to kind of stop distracting ourselves and sweeping that under the rug, and actually bring it to the surface. And then the relinquishing and letting go of these things is actually just feeling them. And, like, most people don't want to hear that you've got to feel these heavy things, right? Because I know what it's like. Like, it's not easy work. But when you can do that, and you start to bring, like, more space, you're opening up more space for, like, your light to shine through, right? And it's like, you have more love and joy in your experience. And that's not to say you don't go through hardship and you don't go through things that, like, challenging things. It just means you're able to handle things in more, like, with more clarity, and, like, you can see even the joy and the beauty in even, like, hard circumstances and things that I feel like, sometimes it feels like you're faced with so much over and over and over again. But when you've, like, cleaned out a lot of these less, like, programming, you're able to, like, deal with things with so much more, like, poise, and, like, and it's like you're living a more harmonious experience. That's just how I feel, like, so, like, living from the heart, it's it takes you to facing your shadow, your darkness, right? That's how it was for me, at least at first. If you're living from the heart, you're not distracted. You're like, you're not sweeping stuff under the rug anymore. You're like allowing whatever's there to be there. You're not like running away. You know, you might still run away from certain things, but you can't do it for so long. Like it's just, you know, and you're like centered and like grounded. And yeah, so I've kind of gone off the bit track, so I'll leave it there. Another one of my rambling videos. I'll just show you the little creek here. Nice little spot. I'm at Zaytuna Permaculture Farm, doing an internship here, so appreciate you for watching. You have my love, you have my gratitude, so cheers. Hope you have a good one.